What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV and another special guest in the building. What's happening, Kev? How are you?
Curtis, I've got to say, I am still buzzing after the weekend. Listen, putting silverware in the cabinet is always good as a gooner. We know
Yeah,
that. And
yeah,
beating a London Derby final as well, which is always good beating Chelsea.
of
But
course.
it still feels good, man. Feels good.
Do you know what? It took me a couple of days to even recover from that. I felt like I was hungover and everything, brother. It was a great feeling, man, against all odds.
Yeah, definitely. Look, Chelsea went into it as the favourites. We know that
Mhm.
because of the money that's been spent on their squad, etc.
Yeah,
But I think it proved that Mikel Arteta can get a tune, not as consistent as everybody wants right
yeah,
now, but he's getting a tune out of these players who, at some of their best days previously, weren't good enough.
yeah,
So it's a big tick in the box for him to get a bit of silverware.
yeah. I mean, obviously, you've played for Arsenal. You've been successful there. I mean, what will that FA Cup victory do for the dressing room and for the manager moving forward?
Well, I'll tell you what he'll do, Curtis, because I think we've covered what happened at the end of last season in the
Yeah,
league and the Europa League final,
yeah,
where we don't turn up. We never turned up in the last 8 games of the league, really. And we
not at
never
all.
turned up. In Baku, it was an embarrassment. Let's be honest. We got embarrassed.
Big time.
And for a large chunk of this season, we know Mikel Arteta is our third manager.
Mm,
Under Unai Emery and under Freddie, there was dissension in the ranks. We weren't consistent. We were up and down. And a lot of Mikel Arteta's tenure, we were up and down as well. But
yeah,
what we have done, maybe, and obviously I put this out to anybody who's watching as well, maybe the lockdown helped us in a
yeah,
sense that when the restart was coming, Mikel Arteta could then start coaching. He
yeah,
could start coaching the players and get into their head. And that's the only way he's going to win these guys. Some will fall by the wayside, as we've seen.
yeah,
Big time players who have fallen by the wayside. But he got a tune out of them. We saw the fitness and emergence of Kieran Tierney.
oh yeah,
We've seen Tierney come in and hit the ground running again. And it looked like a different team. Our best performance was against Manchester City in the semi-final.
brilliant,
Without a shadow of a doubt.
brilliant.
Incredible performance.
Counter-attacking performance. It was brilliant. I mean, I had Robbie on here last night, and Robbie was being very kind towards a lot of the players. I was a little different. I said, the FA Cup win is unbelievable. It was a great feeling, but to me, I still can't trust a lot of these players because ultimately, I think you're judged over your league form, 38 games. And we've seen that this team isn't consistent enough. And I would still, despite the cup win, be getting rid of a lot of these guys.
Curtis, me and you are on the same train, brother.
Come on, Kev, man.
We're on the same. Listen, we're on the same train. And you know what? This is kind of reminiscent of when George Graham first took over in 86, 87, right? 86, he took over in 86. 87, we got to the League Cup final against Liverpool, and the team won. You had Kenny Sansom, Viv Anderson, Charlie Nicholas, and all Graham Ricks, and all these guys in and around the team. What did George Graham do? Ginzu. He got ruthless, chopped them all out, and got the people in who we wanted because he knew these guys are not for the long haul. These guys are no longer for the long haul. And listen, it's nice to be loyal to people, and we all like to be loyal.
Yeah, of course.
But they've had their chances, Curtis. They haven't delivered. They can deliver on a one-off now and again. That's why being a cup team is one thing. We want to be a league-winning team, or at least challenging. If we're going to do that, we need consistency. And a lot of these players are not the consistent type. They can turn it on once or twice, but 10 games on us run, no, you're not really seeing it. But we're talking about wins now. 10 wins on a roll and stuff. Not just drawing this game and winning that. No, win. We are not that team. But Mikel
No.
Arteta knows what he's doing. Trust me, he knows. He knows who's good and who's bad. He knows. And he's going to be ruthless. Watch. He's going to be ruthless. He has to be.
I hope you're right, man. To be honest, I'm being more and more convinced by Arteta as he goes on, to be honest. As you know, I was a little unsure about him when he first came in.
But Curtis, you know, that's fair. That is fair because let's be honest, Curtis, he has no managerial experience. And as Mikel Arteta made mistakes, of course he's made mistakes. There's been games where we've been ahead and we could have won them.
Yeah.
And we've ended up losing the game. So has he made mistakes? Of course he is. We never want a manager to learn on the job.
Nah,
that's one thing we don't want.
Yeah.
But you know what? Now that he's won a trophy, that's going to buy him a little bit more time.
Yeah.
So he has to use this time wisely now in his recruitment. So he knows, right, I've got a bit of breathing space, but now I've got to move and shake to try and get us because those big boys, they're going to be spending money hand over fist.
Yeah.
So he's got to do what he can to try and catch them up, to bridge that gap.
I mean, the first thing that I really wanted to see the club do is Aubameyang. And of course, there's been a bit of an announcement today. He hasn't put pen to paper yet, but they're saying he's close. He's verbally agreed it. I mean, how big would that be for this football club to get him to sign a new deal?
Curtis, I've got to be honest with you. You know, you mentioned about what the FA Cup would do for the players. This is all encompassing with the captain. He's the captain of Arsenal Football Club. A lot of people weren't sure whether he'll be a good captain. He's obviously well liked in the dressing room.
Yeah.
Leads by example. Winning a trophy makes a difference to the mentality of players. Aubameyang was nowhere near in Baku. It didn't look like, you know, there was nowhere near. Finally, as captain, he gets to lift the FA Cup, which is a legendary cup, as we know. Now, he's got a manager there where you can see that the players like Arteta.
Big time.
And I think he's thinking to himself, I've got a manager here where I think we're going places. Now, he can always look at Barcelona and Real Madrid. Of course he can. But there, he's not loved and coveted like he would be at the Arsenal. So I think winning the FA Cup made a big impression on Aubameyang. And I really believe he's going to sign. I really do. I said it after the game. I said Aubameyang's going to sign, man. I'd be around his house that Saturday night with the contract. Just sign. Trust me, just sign.
What made you so sure he was going to sign? Because, you know, if any of the big boys came, or Barcelona or something, you know, maybe his head would have turned.
Yeah, but Curtis, here's the thing. We are a big boy. We've just lost our way a bit.
Yeah.
And it happens at times in a league like Spain, where there's two, maybe three giant teams.
Yeah.
You're always going to be in and around it.
Yeah.
But when you're in England, it's so competitive. But to join Arsenal, you know, you got Manchester United outside, got Liverpool outside, you got Chelsea there, who's got money, but are nowhere near the size of Arsenal. And then he comes to Arsenal. And then he realizes, he only realized how big the club is when he got in.
Yeah, yeah.
Huge club, massive fan base, massive presence in the world of football. Where else is he going to go? And he's captain, he's going nowhere, Curtis. He's going nowhere, man.
You know, I'm putting my faith in you here. But with
he's going
everything
nowhere, man.
Do you know what, Kev? You know, like you played abroad and you played for different clubs. I know you're an Arsenal fan, so it's a little different. But did you ever have a similar feeling for the badge of another club as you did for Arsenal? Because, I mean, you looked very passionate in an Everton shirt and, you know, the fans loved you up there. And I used to see you play for Nottingham Forest. Did you ever have a similar feeling?
Well, it's different, you see, Curtis, because when I'm a kid and I'm growing up and I'm loving Arsenal, I support Arsenal. Arsenal's like my oxygen.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Arsenal's my oxygen. So, listen, I fall out with Arsenal at times, don't we? We fall out of love with Arsenal, but we love them still. Do you know what I mean? We love them still. So, when I played at other clubs, obviously the connection, you are connected to that club. The biggest connection I got was Everton, because Everton are kind of, the fan base is quite similar to Arsenal, where they're a knowledgeable fan base. They're very, very passionate about the football club. They don't want nobody speaking nothing bad about the club. I connected with the Evertonians most. I love my time at Forest, love my time at West Brom. I love my time at all the clubs I was at. Trabzon was brilliant as well. So I suppose that connection, but it's not the same as Arsenal. Let me know. It's not. Don't get it twisted. It's not the same as Arsenal. It's just different. I've got such a good affection for Everton, because I played. That was a second longest time I played for a club in my career. You know, for Everton, became the captain at the club. You know, got on so well with everybody connected with the club. That was kind of my second. That's kind of my second team, so to speak. Solely because of my football career. But as a fan, obviously, nothing beats Arsenal, man.
As you said there, you was captain at Everton for a bit. Aubameyang's captain. What do you think? You know, some people say strikers shouldn't be captains. Do you think there's any sense behind that, or do you think you can be anywhere on the pitch?
Well, I think what tends to happen is, Curtis, a lot of people like either a central defender or a centre midfielder to be captain because he can see all of the pitch or whatever, or he can influence it maybe a little bit different. But I think the key to any team game is having enough players there who take responsibility. Now, if you could be a vocal captain, or you could be a captain who leads by example. The key is the captain isn't just on the pitch, it's off the pitch as well. That's why you're captain. And as long as you've got enough players there who take responsibility, the organization's good, etc., it could be anybody. We've seen goalkeepers be captain, for instance, you know, so it can be anybody really, as long as they've got the respect of the players and the management and everyone and the fans. Then anyone should have a chance of being captain. Yeah.
Now, something I wanted to talk to you about. I saw a few of your tweets today as well to Darren Lewis, so I've already got a bit of an idea what your thoughts are. But obviously, Arsenal announced 55 staff members have been made redundant. It's caused a big stir. Apparently, the players aren't happy about it. They took pay cuts to try and stop this happening. What's your thoughts on it? Is Kroenke in the wrong, or is it business? And is this something that maybe he needed to do?
Well, Curtis, first of all, what I want to say is I don't want anybody to lose jobs.
Of course.
Ever. But unfortunately, the time that we're in is trying time. And I'm not saying, look, that Arsenal couldn't keep people in a job. Of course they could keep people in a job. But we have to be realistic. A lot of people who work on fan interaction, connection with fans, etc., are out of work right now, but getting paid. So does a football club keep them in work for the sentiment of it? Because that's against all business policy. How long will it be? See, these are the questions. How long will it be that you have to keep paying these people? How long? Because nobody knows when fans are going to be back in the state. It might be 2022. We don't know.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be paying people to do a certain job that they can't do. And I know Darren Lewis mentioned Mesut Ozil, and he mentioned Willian. But what we're doing is we're just cobbling everything together. And I know, look, on a profit and loss and all that, everything gets cobbled together in the end. But you, as a club, you will have a business, you will have your playing budget over here. You would have a different budget for staff here, and you'll have a different budget. You'll have different budgets all the way around, media, etc. Okay. So obviously, what the club have done, the players done their bit, didn't they? And said, right, we all agree, we'll take a 12.5% or whatever percentage.
Yeah.
But remember, Arsenal employ hundreds of people.
Yeah.
It's hundreds. Now, fair enough, if people could do stuff remotely and all that kind of thing, great. At least they're doing something. But there's some people who unfortunately, Curtis, can't do their job.
Yeah.
And it's no fault of the Arsenal board. It's no fault of the person. It's just the circumstances of this COVID virus. Now,
Yeah.
I think you're going to start seeing. Well, listen, Arsenal and a few other clubs were talking about furloughing and all that. Furloughing might have helped these people stay in their
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
But when
Yeah.
furloughing got mentioned, people were up in arms. We're the Arsenal, we're classy, we're this, we're that, we're that. Now that this has come to the point that they have to look at it and listen, whether the staff was probably, they're looking at the staff thinking, actually, we're carrying a bit too much staff right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can afford to thin it down because we only have certain amount of people who are actually doing their job. We can't
Yeah.
just keep paying people. So maybe that's what they've done. Do I like it, Curtis? No, I don't like it because, as I
No.
said, I don't like people losing their jobs. But as a business, it is well within your rights as a business to trim the costs of a certain section of your business if it is not working. If it is not working, you can't keep it open.
No.
And unfortunately, some people have had to be let go. You know, it's tragic, but it's happening across the board. It's happening across the country, Curtis. People have their own businesses
Yeah.
or whatever. Everybody's feeling the bite.
Yeah. I think, a lot of Arsenal fans, I mean, it seems like one of these things that whenever clubs are trying to save money, Arsenal are one of the first ones to try and do it, and I think the timing of it as well was a little bit like, right, the fans are in a good mood at the moment with the FA Cup. So now we'll release the news that we're getting rid of staff. It kind of felt a little bit, I suppose at any time they release it's bad, but it just felt a little bit like, I don't know.
Curtis, do you know what, Curtis? There's no good time to tell people that they're losing their job. There's not a good time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and especially in preparation because it's the window short now to the new season. There's got to be some changes because the new season is going to be the same as the lockdown and restart season. It's not going to change. So how could we be having all this staff? It's no point having a bar with 30 bar staff if only 5 people come in. It don't make sense. So they're going to have to kind of trim. And again, it's not nice to tell people that they're going to be out of a job. But I'm sure I've actually spoken to a few people at the club who were worried about their positions. But the people who were there, they actually said to me, Curtis, that they understand because there's a lot of people who what their job description is, they're not doing it.
Yeah.
And that's the difficult part. And Darren, listen, it was good that Darren put that up there, that so many Arsenal fans, we could have debates. Some like it, some don't, but at least we had the debate about it. Everybody was good about it. But unfortunately, football's changed, Curtis. Football is a business. It's a business now. And Arsenal and the Emirates is a big business now. So they're going to trim accordingly. If fans are then allowed back, I'm sure they'd hire people back in. To deal with them,
Yeah. I mean, it is a difficult one. I was a bit reactionary at the start. I was a bit like, come on, Arsenal, man. Like, you're chucking people out there into unemployment at a time like this. But, it is business, I suppose, and it's harsh, isn't it? But, hey, what can you do?
Let me just add on that what you just said. Unfortunately, Arsenal are always going to be the bad guy. The club are always going to be the bad guy. Because, let's put it this way. Some of the tweets earlier on were, I'd rather us be 16th in the league than let people go. No, you wouldn't rather be 16th.
You wouldn't.
Exactly, you wouldn't rather be 16th in the league because people were having meltdowns when we were 9th and 10th. And where we finished now. We got out of jail, if we're honest, we got out of jail by winning the FA Cup.
That's it.
That put a nice gloss on the crap that we went through all season. So let's have it right. And I understand it's a reactionary and stuff, but you know what? When we look at the cold light of day, Curtis, things have to happen in football clubs that everybody's not going to like. And unfortunately, this is something that we don't like. But do you know, when you actually think about it, you can understand it happening. You can understand. We don't like it, but we understand it. Some of these things need to happen.
I mean, when you look at businesses in everyday society, they're getting rid of people. They're going into administration. So football is no different in that sense, I suppose, is it?
Big time. Big time.
So while we're talking about money anyway, I see a story, that Gareth Bale is willing to see out the remainder of his contract, his final year. Obviously, he's been left out of the squad for the Man City game. And obviously with Mesut Ozil, we haven't seen Mesut Ozil apart from when he had the umbrella at Southampton. Is football changing now where players are going to see out contracts, even if they're not playing? Alexis Sanchez left, and his agent said today that as soon as Man United stopped playing him, he wanted out. He wanted to play football. He couldn't sit on the bench. He wanted to play. Mesut Ozil seems very content, not playing, picking up his wages. Is this the way that modern day football is going?
Well, if we're honest, it all depends on the player.
Yeah.
And it all depends on where the player sees himself and what stage of his career he's at, Curtis. Because Mesut Ozil, if we're honest, Mesut Ozil is nearing the end of his career. He's probably got, if he wants, he's probably got one move left in him.
Yeah.
Now, he won't get what he's getting at Arsenal anywhere else now. So, and he signed a 4-year deal, and he's on his 4th year now, right? It's last season.
Last season.
So he doesn't. Listen, he signed a contract, and he's, as far as he's concerned, I'll honour the contract. But it's up to Arsenal to convince him now. Your future is away from Arsenal now, Mesut.
Yeah.
So this is where they've got to start working with his agent. Look, we're happy to move him out. See what you could get from it. Arsenal might have to make up his money.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, at least you're saving some. For instance, if he goes somewhere and they're paying him 100,000, Arsenal might have to make up 250.
Yeah.
But at least that's 100,000 off the wage bill per week that they could get somebody else in, if you know what I mean. So it's important how they move and shake. The player is not going to lose out here. Trust me.
No, he's not.
He's not going to lose out. But the desire, it's that desire. Sanchez wanted to play. He didn't want to sit there picking up that money. He wanted to play. Ozil, Gareth Bale. Gareth Bale's probably got one move left in him. Ozil's got one move left in him. They're sitting down into the last year of their contract. So it's up to the club now. All right, club, you've kept me here. Let's see what you got.
I mean, look, I never played at the level you guys played at, but within myself, my number one priority was always, I want to play football. This is what I love. Of course, you want, big money at that level, but I look at a player like Bale and I think, what a talented footballer that guy is. And, he spent 18 months probably just sitting on the bench. He may spend another 12 months sitting on the bench. It just seems like such a waste when he would walk into 10, 15 clubs, starting 11.
Yeah, but Curtis, if you, I don't know if you remember what happened in the summer. They organized, Real Madrid said, okay, you can go to the Chinese team.
China, yeah.
He flies, gets on the plane and goes out there, touches down, and they turn around and say, no, we want a fee.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you can imagine. They're talking, well, he's not gonna be best pleased, is he?
No.
So you get out there, the club tell you one thing, and then when you land, they realize and say, right, we want a fee. They move the goalposts. And they were just expecting the new team to say, okay, we'll give you something.
Yeah.
No. So Gareth Bale had to come back with his tail between his legs, and that must have hurt.
Yeah.
And then you got Zidane, obviously in pre-season, who said, the best thing for Gareth Bale would be that he's not here. Now, I don't know if you know this, but Gareth Bale is the 4th highest goal scorer for Real Madrid. Did you know that?
That's crazy.
Gareth Bale has scored 105 goals for Real Madrid.
Wow. 4th highest in history, yeah?
Yeah, 4th highest in history.
Wow.
105 goals. And this is the type of player. He can't get into your squad. I
It's
know
crazy.
Zidane used him sparingly throughout the season, and he obviously got his title winning medal.
Yeah.
He's won, what is it, 3 or 4 Champions Leagues at the club, and he's won everything there. And then
Yeah.
he's just being discarded like an old bit of rubbish. Gareth Bale, he's taken a bit of umbrage to it, Curtis, and it's hard. You see, where you're sitting, Curtis, it seems like, I've got to play, I've got to play, I've got to play. But when you're on the inside and clubs
Oh,
start do that to players, it makes players want to dig their heels in a bit more and say, do you know what? No, I'm not going. I'm not going to
yeah.
have
Yeah.
you take the mickey out of me, let me fly all the way to China, and then you move the goalposts.
Yeah.
So, listen, Real Madrid are wealthy. They could afford to pay Gareth Bale. But
Mm.
Gareth Bale, he's probably said, "Oh, listen, I'm happy here. I'm happy to do what I need to do to try and rile the club into saying, look, let's get him out."
Yeah, and pay him up. They're loving the bow tie, by the way, Kev. All the people in the comments, man, they're loving it. Have you ever had a time where a club has tried to sell you and you've said no, I'm staying?
No, that kind of happened at Nottingham Forest. When I was at Nottingham Forest, we
Mm.
just got promotion back up to the Premier League,
I remember it
and
well.
yeah, and we were flying, we were doing well. All the team had experience in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Everybody had played in the Premier League, so we were really looking forward to the season. And then the hierarchy accepted a bid for me from Trabzonspor in Turkey. I was supposed to sign a new contract. I was probably going into the office. I went into the office 5 times in 10 days. The contract's going to be ready. It's going to be ready tomorrow. Going to be ready tomorrow. Going to be ready tomorrow. So you can imagine after the 5th time and 10th day, I'm
You're
like,
thinking, what's going on? Yeah,
what's
yeah.
going on here? So and then it comes out. It's in your best interest that you go and sign for this club. That's what I was told.
Wow. Irving
So
Scholar.
yeah, and that's how it comes. It's in your best interest that you go and speak to this club. So I thought, well, if I'm not wanted, no problem. So I spoke to Harry Bassett.
Hmm.
I flew out to Turkey, and I'd always thought to myself, if I get an opportunity to go abroad, I'll
You
take it.
wanted it.
If it's right,
Yeah.
and I didn't think I was going to be going to Turkey, Curtis.
Yeah.
When I got over there and I saw the facilities were better than England, much better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought, wow, this could really be good for my career. So I decided, yeah, why not? I'm all in, and that's how it happened. So I didn't
I
even
mean,
have the opportunity to dig my
yeah.
heels
I mean, could you not have turned around to him though and just said, you know what? We've just got promoted. I've been one of your best players. No, I don't want to go to Turkey, man. I want to play in the Prem. You and Van
in. Yeah,
Hooijdonk up front.
yeah, I could have done that, but they'd already told me it's in your best interest. So I was
Yeah.
going no matter what. And what they've got to do, they remember the footballers are the assets.
Yeah.
So I think it was a new consortium who'd taken over, and
Mm.
they wanted to move and shake. Which is their prerogative. Now
Mm.
they've got to identify assets that they could sell, and I was one of them. That's just the harsh reality of business, football business.
Didn't work out great for him either, did it?
Well, it went pear-shaped. Well, that's why Pierre Van Hooijdonk went on strike,
Yeah.
and just that whole
Imploded.
camaraderie, that whole feeling in the team, Curtis,
Yeah.
just went. We had such a great team spirit at Nottingham Forest. It was a brilliant club, great atmosphere. But once the team spirit goes, you've lost it.
Oh man, it's crazy, these owners. And this is why sometimes you can't blame players when it appears to fans sometimes, oh, they're being disloyal. But
Yeah.
no one says anything when a club just dashes away a player. No one cares about the player then. So
Curtis, the clubs are the biggest disloyal
yeah.
clubs ever. They're the biggest. Listen,
Yeah.
they would tell you, yeah, we're gonna get you, and then they'll kick you to the curb. But nobody,
Yeah,
because the fans follow the football club,
of course.
it always looks like the player is having, maybe if he talks,
Mm.
he's having a dig at the club.
Yeah.
But a lot of the players know what goes on in the background, obviously, and they get ushered out. They
Yeah,
get
cool.
promised one thing and get ushered out the next.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
fans won't ever see that because the club are never going to say, we lied to him.
Of
But
course.
that's just a part of football.
So moving forward, Kev, obviously we're looking at new players. I know you do work with La Liga and stuff like that. I mean, two of the players we're being linked with over there at the moment, Philippe Coutinho and Thomas Partey. Of course, Willian as well, but we'll come to him in a second. Do you see this? I mean, those two players for me, I think would be outstanding at Arsenal, Coutinho and Partey. Do you see a way for Arsenal to get those guys over here?
Thomas Partey, I think he wants to come.
Yeah.
He is, Curtis. I think we've discussed it on one of your podcasts previously.
Yeah.
He is that central midfielder who can protect the back four. He can put his foot in, and you know what? He can dribble. He can shoot. He's an all-rounder. But he's that wall that we've wanted in front of that back four
for years.
As a defensive for years. He is that player. Energy to burn, everything. He's that player, right? So he'll be in there. And we've been crying out for years. And listen, I will never disrespect Mesut Ozil because Mesut Ozil has been a world-class footballer, and he has created some unbelievable moments for Arsenal Football Club. But right now, he's not the same player.
Nah.
So I believe Philippe Coutinho, who knows the Premier League, he is that creative player that we miss. We lack from the center of the pitch. And with Aubameyang, Lacazette, Pepe, we're going to speak about Willian and Martinelli, etc., Saka. He could be that link like a David Silva type player.
Yeah.
Think, knit everything together and make it happen. Plus, he can score goals. And that's what we lack from that midfield. Somebody who can score goals.
And that's the thing, a lot of people say, Arsenal, we don't need attacking players. We only need defenders, this, that, the other. We're one of the lowest goal scorers teams out of the top 8, what we was in this season. Chelsea scored 13 goals more than us.
Yeah.
When you look at they had Giroud, who we couldn't wait to get rid of, and Tammy Abraham in his first main season. We do not score goals in enough positions apart from Aubameyang. So to me, a Coutinho, these kind of players, we do need them.
100%. We have to share the goals out. Look, Lacazette hasn't had a great season, although the work he does for the team goes a bit unnoticed. Curtis, that holding up play that he does and bringing people, that is vital for the likes of Pepe and Aubameyang. We saw it in the cup final. We saw it against Man City. We saw it against Chelsea in the final. That work goes unnoticed, but it is so essential to what we do as a football club. But if he's going to be coming deep and linking the play, we need a midfielder running beyond him as well. A bit like Ramsey used to do. Ramsey used to get on the end of stuff and be that dangerous player going forward from the middle of the park. Goes up front and nobody picks him up, and all of a sudden he's hitting the back of the net. That's what Coutinho could do. Coutinho could shoot from 25, 30 yards, hit the target, score screamers, or he can play intricate passes. Didn't quite work out for him at Barcelona. I'm not sure why it didn't, or Bayern Munich type of thing. But he knows the Premier League. He's done it in the Premier League. And you know what? If I believe in Arteta, that Arteta knows how to get the best out of these guys.
I mean, on loan with an option to buy, absolute no-brainer for me. Take
it all day long. Any of these players you can get on loan who know the Premier League, who have the quality, let's get them in on loan and let's see how they operate.
Yeah, it does, isn't it? You mentioned Lacazette there. Divides opinion a lot. He's a player that I like. Brilliant all-round game. In France, he was scoring like 25, 30 goals a season. He's come to England. He's getting the 10, 15 goal mark most seasons. I mean, is he somebody you would move on, or do you think he is important for Aubameyang and that partnership that they've got?
No, I think he's vital for Aubameyang and Pepe.
Yeah.
if you replace him and you play Aubameyang through the middle, you have to change the dynamic of your team.
Yeah.
You have, because Aubameyang, for all his attributes, isn't the best at receiving the ball with his back to goal. He isn't the best. And that's why I think Mikel Arteta plays Aubameyang to the left. Because when Lacazette holds that ball, takes the hit, and then links it up, the next ball is Aubameyang to use his speed over the top or through. We've seen it happen against Everton a few times, and we've seen it, happen against Man City. We've seen it happen against Chelsea. It does work. It does work a treat. So they know the players. Maybe Mikel Arteta might have to move and shake with the Thomas Partey deal. He might think, you know what, I have to sacrifice Lacazette to get Partey, maybe. So if he stays, I'm happy. If he went, I'm not saying that I'm be happy, but I could understand it because it'll be for a reason. It will be for a reason, that's for sure.
Do you think Aubameyang would score more goals if he played central?
I think the dynamic of the team would have to change. And maybe that's what Arteta wants to do.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he wants to do with the addition of Willian, who's probably going to sign.
Yeah.
Because there has to be more. If you got Aubameyang at the top, you can't play him to the front that easy.
No, you got to do different.
You're going to have to use the width a lot more to try and open teams up wide, get short passes back into midfield, and get Aubameyang running between defenders, which we know works. So you have to change the dynamic of the team, which I'm not saying it can't happen. Of course it can happen. Aubameyang's excellent at it. But just the way Lacazette has performed, he hasn't got the accolade, but you've been a striker. I'm striker. Somebody who can hold the ball up so you can time your run. It's so important. It's vital.
It is vital.
Listen, I think Aubameyang's going to score goals wherever you play him.
Yeah.
Across that front. Now, would Coutinho make a massive difference? I think Coutinho would make a difference, even if Aubameyang played down the middle.
Yeah.
But what a fantastic opportunity to change the squad and the system with Lacazette there.
Yeah, of course.
It's a squad game now. We got to admit that it is a squad game, and everyone's not going to play every game.
So one player it looks like we're going to sign, again, as usual, divides opinion amongst the Arsenal fan base. Me personally, I'm more towards the positive side of this deal. I'm kind of seeing it from a more positive point of view. I see Willian as an experienced player. He got 9 goals, 7 assists in the Premier League this season, which is actually better than Pepe got this season. I think people will be a little bit concerned about the age of him, but to me, he doesn't look like a player who's on the downward at the moment. Willian's coming in, 100 grand a week reportedly, 3-year contract from Chelsea. What's your thoughts on it?
I think it's excellent. You know, when I saw Chelsea's squad on Saturday, and Willian was sat in the stand, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Do you know what? He is one of their most productive players when he plays.
100%.
He causes all sorts of problems because he's got serious running power. Now, people are worried about the age of players. Players are in their prime until they're 33, 34 now. It's not like back in the day when it was 28 to 32. The longevity of these players are like 28 to 33, 34 now. Yeah. So he's still in his prime. Curtis, we're getting him on a free. We don't have to pay for him.
Yeah.
So the wages, that's nothing. We're not breaking the bank to keep the guy.
Yeah.
You know, I just think he's a proven Premier League. He's got all the medals. He knows the Premier League. He's still very dangerous and productive.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, Reiss Nelson isn't experienced enough to play a full season.
No.
Can he help develop the Reiss Nelsons of this world? Of course he can.
Yeah.
Because you need people like that to show you the ropes.
Of course.
He'll help Pepe as well. But Arteta knows he don't have to teach him too much because he already does it, plays in that position at Chelsea. So I think it's good. I think it's great business to pick up a player like that. 3-year contract to a 2-year contract. Here's the problem with a 2-year contract, Curtis. Willian does well next season. He only has a year left.
All of a sudden, he can be going straight away.
All of a sudden, should we cash in on him? Should we not? Should we do this? Should we do that? No. What we need to do is we need to build a squad who's capable to be consistent over the course of a season. That's what we need. And Willian is one of those players. He won't play all the time, I'm sure. But who does these days plays 4 seasons?
Yeah.
But he's a productive player who can be devastating on his day. And if he comes to Arsenal, I will be happy.
No, I agree. I just want to read a few of these comments. Rydog said, Jamie Vardy is 33 and top goal scorer in the Premier League. So age isn't always a big problem, is it?
No.
Willian is amazing for squad depth alone. I agree with that. And let me just read this super chat. Cash Chucker says, I'm really excited. We absolutely have to extend Danny Ceballos now before anything else and keep Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Both for me were massive.
Great points. Great points.
Danny Ceballos.
Oh, my God. Since Arteta took over, and maybe the lockdown helped us, Curtis.
Again, yeah, you're right.
Players even just training at home, and then all of a sudden Arteta could get his hands on them and coach them.
Yeah.
I thought Danny Ceballos was, even though we lost some games, Curtis, I thought Danny Ceballos, you could see his confidence building. Come the end of the season, I thought he was immense against Man City, and I thought he was absolutely brilliant against Chelsea.
Yeah.
First 15 minutes was a bit. We were all a bit ropey in the first 15 minutes, but you know what? For the next 75, he was bang on. So why not secure him for another season? Definitely. Maitland-Niles, I mean, I'm sure I thought he got disciplined in the early part of Arteta's reign. He got sent out to train with the kids, I think, or whatever. Disciplined. He came back in the group, got his head down. And if we're honest, he's kept some of the most dangerous wingers quiet.
Yep.
In the league. He's done a great job. And against Manchester City, he weren't that good going forward, but he was good defending. But I thought he'd done pretty well moving up the pitch against Chelsea.
Yeah, he did.
And if you remember, he created an opportunity for Aubameyang first. I think it was after about the cross and flashed the header. So listen, I like Maitland-Niles. I just hope he doesn't get too caught up in not only just the playing, but being a utility man is so vital to this Arsenal team because he can play well in so many different positions. And under this manager, I reckon he will gain Arteta's trust. He's gaining the trust all the time now. And once you've got the trust of a manager, you've got a big chance of playing.
I think the question with Ainsley is, he said a few times he wants to play in the middle of the park. When I've seen him in midfield, I haven't been totally convinced. I actually think he could possibly be a better right back than Bellerin, in my opinion, if he was coached enough. It's just whether he wants to play there or not.
Yeah, I'm a midfielder, but no, you're a footballer.
Yeah,
you're a footballer. Right. You're a footballer. Yeah. And do you know what? Wherever the manager asks you to play, what you're going to say? No, you're going to play.
Yeah.
So, look, you're at one of the biggest clubs in the world, and you've played right back, you've played centre midfield sparingly, and you've played left back. And actually, your best performances have been at right back and left back.
Yeah.
Or wing back, so to speak. So, do you know what? If the manager picks me at wing back, hey, I'm happy to play it. Don't worry about it. Yeah, happy.
Team, innit?
Happy. We're winning. Got a nice FA Cup winners medal now. Doing your bit, starting. Curtis, that's the other thing. Starting.
Yeah.
Played, 2 of the most dangerous teams you can play, really. Semi-final against Man City, then Chelsea in the final. Played a good game in both games. Got a winners medal. If he don't go away and then come back next season and think, I got this, man. I got this. Something's wrong.
Good question here from Frank. He says, Kev, what do you think of Pepe's first season?
I thought it's taken a little while for Pepe to find his feet, but that can happen.
Yeah.
We all wanted Pepe to hit the ground running.
Yeah.
Because we saw this exciting player, tricks, and he's quick, etc. But what people have to understand, the Premier League is no joke.
No joke.
The Premier League is so fast, and people close you down quick. You've got to be fitter here than you are in France.
Yeah.
You've got to make quicker decisions here than you do in France. And it's taken him a while to pick up the pace. It's taken him a while to actually feel and look the part.
Yeah.
But again, Curtis, after lockdown,
yeah,
after that lockdown again, where Arteta's been able to get the boys and coach them up, he's been getting better. And against Manchester City, I thought he had great moments.
Yeah.
Great ball for Aubameyang's first goal.
Yeah.
But I thought he saved the best till last.
Brilliant against. He ripped Alonso to shreds in that game.
Rudiger didn't even want to come out.
Nah, he didn't want it.
Alonso, you're on your own on that one, boss. You know what I mean? You're on
your
own. I don't want none of this. You make a fool of me. And then Arteta adjusts and he moves him inside a little bit, and he's twisting man's blood on the edge of the box.
Oh my God.
So, for me, and then he set up Aubameyang for the winner. Got to give Lacazette credit for that little run to take Zuma a little
bit away. Yeah, and give him
just a second. Big props. But you could see it was a set move.
Yeah.
But again, Nicola Pepe saw it. He saw it. He knew it. He knew the right pass.
Yeah.
So he saved the best till last. I think there's so much more to come from this young man. And we saw glimpses of it. Don't forget when we played Liverpool at Anfield.
Twist up Van Dijk.
We saw him torture Van Dijk for a little bit. Let's be honest.
Yeah. The
problem is we couldn't as a team do it consistently.
Yeah.
Now, with a few additions, etc., I think we're going to be able to do that a little bit more consistent. And once we can do it consistently, then you're going to see the best of Pepe.
What I always said with Pepe is I'm looking at left-footed right wingers in his position. Players like Robben and Bale and Salah, Messi. Those guys, for me, have got killer instinct. They hurt fullbacks. There's end product. They shoot. They get goals. I think sometimes Pepe's a little bit nice. He's been a little bit within himself. Like, I want him to drive and get shots off. I mean, that goal that he actually scored in the cup final that was disallowed. I mean,
brilliant.
I want to see that 10, 15 times a season from him.
Yeah, but you saw that after the restart, right at the end, because he's starting to understand it a bit.
Yeah.
And the great thing, Curtis, I know the goal never stood, but you do know when he's doing it against the likes of Manchester City and Chelsea, that means he can do it consistently against lesser teams.
Yeah, of course.
But it's all in the learning. Under Unai Emery, and obviously Freddie didn't really have long enough to make such a difference. But Pepe was kind of left in his own world. He could kind of do what he liked. There seems to be a structure with Arteta, and Arteta likes to work with the wide players and to get them productive. I think what you're saying is he needs to be more productive, and I think he will. I think he will be more productive. But at times, Arsenal have been their own worst enemy at times, because Arsenal can go from controlling a game to letting the game slip away from them after in the next 20 minutes. Arsenal have been crazy this season. Arsenal have been crazy this season. But under Arteta, that stops. That's going to stop, because control the ball, control of the game, so we can move into position to get these wide players hurting teams. You want them to be devil. They've got to have devilment. That's what we need. And it is coming. It will come.
Yeah. Quick question here for you, Kev. He says, "Hey, Kev, what do you think of Magales? Is it Gabriel? Is it the Brazilian?"
Gabriel, yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen a lot of him. He's apparently we're being linked with him. Do you know much about him?
Yeah, it's left-footed centre half, Brazilian.
Yeah,
Looks good, quick, aggressive.
big guy.
You know, everything that we're crying out for, Curtis. Big, quick, aggressive, can play, good passer. He fits the bill, and he's not crazy money.
No, they're saying 30 million, I think, 25.
Yeah, he's not crazy money. Obviously, Saliba's coming in as well, who good young player. We're not putting too much pressure on him, but we want him to hit the ground. We want him to hit the ground running. What I see is this, Curtis. I see we could have virtually new partnerships or new central defensive and central midfield holding player.
Yeah.
Who can live with speed, live with aggression, who can play against a lot of these teams and not be intimidated. Actually, we are the ones who could be doing the intimidating. And
that's it.
Again, that's where I want to be as Arsenal. Because I love it when we hear the whinging Arsenal at this and Arsenal at 30 and Arsenal at that. I love it, Curtis. I love it. That's what I want.
And this is what we need to see, Kev, because look, we've seen Arsenal play nice football and it clicks and they outplay. I want to see them horrible games at Burnley in the rain in December where we can go there and outmuscle them and win those. They're the games we can't win at the moment.
Yeah, we can mix it. We can go there, mix it, and come away with the win and a clean sheet. Yeah. That's what I want. And then we can go to the so-called fancied clubs, the big clubs, and we could go toe-to-toe with them. That's what we need. We can afford to push our players forward and play 2v2 at the back because you know what? Our guys will stick with you. You could play a ball over the top. We got this. Play up to them. We can bully you. Yeah. Because that's what we get. You ask Lacazette and Aubameyang and them guys when they play against Liverpool, they're getting hit, man. They're getting physical. It's physical. So we got to get back to being Arsenal, man. We're not the Gunners for nothing. Let's give them some.
Give them some power in it, man.
Some licks, man.
Stackademic says, how long before Arsenal are in the top 4? And Kev, who's the best player you've played against domestically or internationally?
The Arsenal in the top 4. Top 4 could happen next season. Listen, there's no reason why Arsenal can't be in the top 4 next season.
No.
Because you look at Liverpool and Manchester City are a bit further down the line than we are. In the types of consistency they have. Man United, no. Chelsea, no. They're not more. They've been more consistent just because they've had their players staff together longer.
Yeah.
Under Arteta, he's proven he can out-muscle and outsmart these guys.
Yeah.
But he needs the right squad. Do you know what I mean? Needs the right squad. So we can do it. We're the Arsenal, man. Listen, I believe in Arteta. I really do.
You do?
I do. I believe in him. I think he can get it right.
Who's the best player you've played against?
Well, I got to say Gazza was one of them.
Yeah.
Gazza was unbelievable. Honestly,
at
his pomp. Yeah. Wow. In that 1990 World Cup, he was probably the best player in the world. I know there was other players with the big name, but at that World Cup, he was untouchable. He was incredible. Yeah. Played against Maldini, Baresi, Costa Curta, Tassotti.
Wow.
That AC Milan team, Boban, Savicevic. Those guys were incredible. Yeah. Paul McGrath, he was world class as well. World class. Pity his knees. His knees were poor. Desai was in that AC Milan team as well. So, Gazza's like, but playing against some of them Arsenal boys as well, man. When you're looking at Bergkamp and Henry, and obviously I'm at the other end of the pitch.
Yeah.
But when you see the way these guys move, man, it's like, whoa, it's unbelievable.
Was you with Gazza at Everton then?
Yeah.
Walter Smith. What was he like as a teammate then? Because he seems like a proper joker off the pitch.
That was the joker. But you know what, Curtis? What I will say, I always prided myself on being the first in.
Did you?
And yeah, because I always trained. I trained before the team,
Yeah.
trained with the team, and then trained after. And Gazza had the same regime. So
Okay.
it'd be like me and Gazza train in the morning, shower, go up, have a bit of breakfast, and train with the team, and then we train after. So it was, it was like the older you get, you got to look after yourself a bit more.
Of
Do you know what I
course.
mean?
Yeah.
That type of thing. You don't take it easier. You've got to be smarter the way you do it, and that's the way Gazza was. He was, coming to the end of his career, he couldn't do it consistently as well, Curtis.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what? He could for 10 or 15 minutes, he could produce stuff in a game that you go, oh my God, how did he do that?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
it was training or a game. He was incredible. And he's one of them players who could pick the ball up in his own half and he could just go
Just go
beat
past.
he
Yeah.
could just
Yeah.
beat people, pick a pass, slot it in, score from 25 yards. He could do it all, mate. Gaz was unbelievable.
Oh wow, it's amazing that you talk about him training like that, because all we see is Gazza necking pints and all kind of
Playing the
madness.
full, right? Playing the full. No,
Playing
he
the
was
full.
he was deadly serious about his football, mate.
Yeah,
Deadly serious. And I think that's why he has some of the problems now, is
yeah.
because he hasn't got football anymore.
And it's difficult, isn't it? When you retire, a lot of these players, I mean, they struggle. Have you ever thought about going into management yourself?
Well, at one stage when I was at West Brom, with Brian Robson, Nigel Pearson, Craig Shakespeare, Michael Appleton was there. When I left Everton when I was at Everton, me, Duncan Ferguson, Stubbsy, Davy Weir were doing our badges. We all were doing our badges.
Yeah,
Obviously, I then moved to West Bromwich Albion. That had to go on the back burner a bit because of the Great Escape. And then come the end of that, I was looking at going on the player coaches side with Brian Robson, etc. But the chairman pulled a contract at the last minute.
yeah,
So I didn't really get the opportunity to finish. But it was no fault of my own. It got pulled. And then I went into other things, the security and all that kind of thing was always there anyway, just
yeah.
before I finished. And I went into other things then.
And you don't think you'll ever get into it now, then?
No, I'm happy being a football dad and a fan.
I have to admit, Kel, I think you're a really, really good pundit. I'm surprised actually that you're not even more like on Super Sunday and those kind of things, rather than just little guest appearances on Sky and that.
Well, it seems to be a monopoly with these old Liverpool players and
Yeah, they
and
love
stuff
the
like
Liverpool
that.
man.
Which is fine because Liverpool, you tend to find the team that's in the ascendancy
Yeah,
gets the most pundits.
yeah, yeah.
Because there was a time where it was full of kind of old ex-Manchester United,
Man United,
pundits,
man. Yeah,
you know what I mean? And now Liverpool are coming up, so you get that mix. But
yeah,
I love obviously I love doing Arsenal games, love doing the Everton games as well, etc. And a lot of Arsenal fans and a lot of Everton fans say, is there an agenda against us?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
a lot of these guys don't speak well of us. Because I remember a lot of these guys were Arsenal's rivals.
Yeah, of course they were.
And Arsenal used to hurt these guys.
Liverpool used to get slapped by Arsenal.
Slapped up. So, listen, the rivalries still stay the same.
Yeah,
They don't just go away just like that. So, it's it. But if the opportunity came and I could do it, of course I would do it. But,
yeah.
it's still got the love for the Gunners, obviously.
I have to say here, man, happy Independence Day to Jamaica, man.
Jamaica, of course.
Today. Do you know what, as well? Did you ever have any opportunities to play international football?
Well, I was in what was it, 5 or 6 England squads.
Yeah.
But I never got a cap. Never. I was on the
No.
bench for a few times and never even got on the pitch. So,
Wow.
but it's one of them things that happens. And I'm a good trivia question now, I suppose.
Very good. Who was on the bench 5 times and never got a cap?
No. Who's British player scored the most goals in the top flight, never to get a cap, over 100 goals? Me.
Wow. So who was the manager who picked you then and didn't bring you on?
I think at the time it was Graham Taylor. who's
Oh,
obviously
yeah.
no longer here. But
Yeah.
it was just one of them things. I mean, there was a lot of strikers around at the time, but Arsenal, we were up there challenging and winning cups and winning trophies, but just never materialized for some reason, Curtis. But that's life, isn't it?
Was there ever a chance for you to play for a different country? Maybe one of your
No,
Caribbean countries?
yeah, like Jamaica or that never came up. I know the likes of Franks and Moro and
Yeah.
Frank Sinclair and all that. Those guys Dion Burton. Those
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
went to play for Jamaica, but no, that never came to me.
Yeah, you was in a very good era of strikers at that time, weren't
Strikers,
you?
yeah. It was a hotbed.
So just wrapping it up anyway. Arteta, do you know what? Speaking to you all these times, you actually gave me a lot of faith in Mikel Arteta. You know, I was thinking, you know, these lot really believe in this guy so much, and you know, it is coming to fruition slowly. You know, what first of all made you believe in him so much, and what do you think we can do next season if we recruit the right players?
Well, Curtis, I have a question for you before I answer yours.
Go on.
Arsenal in the first 4 months, if I'd have said to you that those same players would beat Manchester City in the FA Cup semi-final and beat Chelsea in the final, what would you have said to me?
Not a chance.
You'd say no chance, right?
Yeah, no chance.
This has all come under his stewardship.
And
he hasn't had long to work with them.
No.
But the one thing he's done, I think, Curtis, he's got in their head. Because if you don't win the guys in the head, you got no chance.
Yeah.
He's won them over in the head. Maybe he's done the things behind the scenes, like give the players enough rope, and the ones who don't toe the line hang themselves. Mesut Ozil, Guendouzi, them guys are done.
They are.
Them guys are done at Arsenal. So, but the other players respect that, because you can't be a manager and going on a reputation of a player under your stewardship without them proving it.
Under
Again,
you, yeah.
You have to be hungry. You always have to be hungry. You know, it's not, you know, what have you done for me lately? Not, you know, what I've done all those years ago. It doesn't work like, what have you done for me lately? So
yeah,
that's why I believe Mikel Arteta. That's why I believe in him, because he's got a tune out of these players who, when it came to the crunch, and don't forget, our exit from the Europa League was under Arteta's tenure.
Yeah.
But that was early Arteta. And that was telling. That was so telling. We should, Aubameyang scores, we've got to go through, right?
Would have been through. I was at that game. It was devastating.
Yeah, we've got to go through. But the Keystone Cops at the back was all over the place. And we end up conceding and going out and make a mess of it. Arteta was straight on it. After that, if you notice, we got defensive. He weren't too worried about the strike force. Then when there was a few games where we didn't score, or we looked disjointed going forward, but he worked on that defense, because he knew if we're going to do anything, I have to work with these guys at the back.
Yeah,
because that's so important. And we're talking about Luiz and Socrates, etc., etc. And look, Socrates, he came on Saturday and done okay, but
for 5 minutes.
But since Arteta's been moving this thing forward, Socrates has been pushed aside.
Out the way, yeah, out the way.
Yeah, he's been out the way. He's even made Mustafi look decent.
Well, yeah, he's a magician if he's doing that, because
Look, I still, don't get me wrong, Curtis. I still want Mustafi gone.
There you go, Kev. There you go.
But again, that ruthlessness. But he got a tune out of Mustafi to keep a clean sheet against Manchester City. Whoa. Whoa. That's huge. Now, what can we do? What can we do with the right recruitment?
Yeah.
With the right recruitment, Curtis, we can make the top 4. We can make the top 4.
I agree.
But do you know what we also can do? We've got to beat some of these teams at their patch. some of the big teams on their patch. Not saying we're going to beat all of them, because that may be asking a bit too much. Although we want it, we could start going away from home, because we fancy ourselves at the Emirates.
Yeah.
Going away from home and getting results on the road at some of the biggest clubs, that's when you know this thing is rolling.
Yeah.
That's what I see. I see he's ambitious. He's young. He's ambitious. He wants to do well. And that's what I want. I want us to be challenged. I want us to win silverware. I want us to win silverware every year. Yeah. But I want us to go on the road and win at some of the biggest clubs.
And that's the key, innit? You know, you've got to start imposing yourself on these big teams. Let them know when Arsenal roll into town, man, we mean business.
Exactly. How it used to be. Just how it used to be. Whether you're home or away, Arsenal come to town, you're going to have to batten down the hatches. No messing.
Kev, do you know what? It's been a pleasure speaking to you. Speaking to you has made me feel like we're going to win the treble next season.
Listen, not treble yet. Not treble yet.
Treble yet. No, it's true.
But let me tell you something. The way this Mikel Arteta's going, if he can get over the next couple of years, if he can get the correct backing, and I know you said that earlier on, if he can, he needs to be backed. If he can get the right backing, he will build a strong Arsenal squad that we're going to be proud of. I know it.
Do you know what? It's a shame players like yourself don't work within the club, you know, because I think it's important to have people at a club who've played for the club and, you know, have that vision of what you've seen Arsenal when they were successful and under great managers. So it's a shame. But in terms of your punditry, Kev, you're brilliant, mate. You should be on Sky and all those on a regular basis, man.
Well, you never know. You might see me on Sky a little bit next year.
A little bit more. If Arsenal improve, they might start calling you on a little bit more, man.
Well, hey, Curtis, hopefully I could be on a Thursday night again with a bit of luck.
Yeah,
the Europa.
Yeah,
so
let's
see.
All right. Yeah, let's see. Kev, absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you to everyone in the comments. I had loads of people watching, loads of comments in there. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Check out Kev's channel as well. I had an interview on there. What is it? One Kevin Campbell.
At one Kevin Campbell, yeah.
At one Kevin
Campbell on YouTube. At one Kevin Campbell on Instagram and Twitter. So yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
love Arsenal, man. Hey, Arsenal, keep buzzing. And you know what? Believe in Arteta. Believe that the club, Kroenke and these guys are going to start helping this guy get these players in. Because you know what? If he gets 2 centre-backs and that central midfield player, we're in business.
Sorted, innit? Sorted. All the best to you, Kev. Good luck to your boy as well for next season at Stoke, man. They stayed in the league, so he was doing well as well. Finished the season well.
Nice one. Well, thanks to you, Curtis, for having me on. And listen, up the Arsenal, man. Up the Arsenal. Take care.
Right. I'm going to have to get you on here on a regular basis, Kev, I think.
Listen, you know me, Curtis. If I can do it, I'll do it with you, mate. No problem.
Yeah. Take care, Kev.
Take care. Cheers.